So for our hot topic, we wanted to talk a little bit more about clean beauty. A lot of the questions that we have right now, and you've already answered. Um, One of them being, how long have you been an advocate for clean beauty? But what I'd like to know is, since you've made the change, you said that you were diagnosed with psoriasis when you found all of this out, and how have you seen a change in that? Like, is it completely cleared up? Do you still have flare ups, or like, how has it changed since you've switched to using clean products?
Yeah, so I saw a huge shift in my overall health and well-being 48 to 72 hours after I
Wow.
had everything in a cardboard box. I didn't necessarily switch because I had nothing to switch to. It was an experiment that I didn't know was going to create any change, And that was the pivotal time for me. I definitely saw the difference and I felt the difference. And then I had a reassurance from one of my friends who lived down the street who was like, "Are you on a diet? You look like you lost weight," because I was so inflamed. And so that for me
Wow.
was like, okay, I definitely there's something, wrong with these things.
Yeah.
And I never went back to the doctor to get my shots. I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor, but I mean, I didn't want to do it from in the first place, and it's very
Yeah.
expensive. But
Right.
I had prescribed medication that I was putting on my head, and
Mhm.
I didn't need to use it anymore. I just saw that my skin was it was definitely to the point of being, I mean, I went in because it was got to the point where it was embarrassing and it was
Yeah.
flaking off and it looked just like, you never want to be that person where it's on your like shoulders. And so I was like, what is going on? And I went to all these different doctors and a dermatologist and an allergen specialist and had all these things happen. And I never went back for my shots. And they said, these things are lifelong. This will take years to, figure out if you like what your allergies, if they get better. And then the psoriasis they told me was permanent. And
Yeah.
it would have been if I would have kept using the products.
Mm. That
But
is
it was just
so
interesting. They
interesting.
never asked me like I told them my profession and they didn't and they saw me coming in smelling like I did, like I had perfume and I had makeup on, but no one said anything. And so it just makes me sad for everyone who doesn't know and like who's going and experiencing the same thing, trying to figure out why is my vision blurry? How come I can't breathe anymore? And they're like, "Oh, we'll take this shot and take this pill and like maybe you'll figure it out."
Right.
It's just like they
Kind of
should
like a
ask.
trial and error.
Yeah, it's like, well, you should also say, well, what are you using at home? Are you using,
Yeah.
Windex? Well, maybe that, isn't helpful. And so, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just sad that I had to figure that out for myself when there is clearly a problem in the United States. It's not regulated, really. I mean, there hasn't
Yeah.
been big laws passed in since the 30s, which is a long time.
Yeah.
No, I've
Um,
I've constantly struggled with that kind of stuff. Like for a while I've used unscented deodorants and body lotions and body wash and all of my clothes and all that stuff are washed and unscented stuff. And that's because I have eczema that can cover anywhere really on my body. It just depends on what area decides to get irritated. So for me, it's a trial and error of like, oh, okay, so now this area is inflamed or is now acting up. So now I'm going to have to try to figure out how to combat that. And so I've got it regulated enough to that extent and where like I know, okay, it's not coming from my clothes and what I'm washing myself with and stuff like that. The fact of the matter now is like, okay, I'm still having these issues and I'm doing what I can. So it's got to be something else. So now it's kind of like, let's focus on what I'm using in my hair and on my face and that kind of stuff, because that's where I still have the most problems. That's where my common areas of flare ups happen.
mhm.
Hmm. Yep. And what
So
you
interesting.
eat, I mean, it does go back to a
That's
diet.
I know. Oh,
And it's hard because I just want to eat whatever I want. Like, I'm glad I don't have those sorts of issues.
I was gonna
yeah.
say, have you changed your diet at all?
More pizza.
Yes. I love that.
If anything, that's a benefit. So,
I live on coffee, and I'm so lucky that I mean, that I have a quicker metabolism. Otherwise, I would fill
Bless.
the screen. So,
No, bless. I find that because like I'll stuff my face before we go to bed, and then I'll wake up
that's
in the
not
morning.
good. I try not
Well,
to
like
do that.
I
At
know
least 3 hours.
it's not good, but like I'll wake up and my stomach is growling. You know, it's like I'll go to bed full and I'll wake up and I'm so angry because my stomach is so hungry, and I'm like, how does this happen? I wasn't asleep for that long. Why are you this hungry right now?
Yeah.
So I would say like my perception is that, clean beauty products may be more on the expensive side. And what would you say to someone who is concerned about the cost of, tossing all their makeup and starting fresh?
Well, 5 or 10 years ago, absolutely, it was expensive. Even as an artist, getting a discount, like working with Beauty Counter, I was like, if they didn't have a program, I probably would have not invested in it, to just be 100% honest. Like 30 or 40 bucks for a mascara when I know like what I was getting was like $8 or whatever. It,
Mhm.
it is it is a change, but now there are so many clean brands that are affordable that literally are like that's their part of their brand is that they're affordable clean beauty. And I work with a lot of them and they are still high performing. Brilliance is targeted towards teens, so their lip glosses, I mean, they're, under 20 bucks. They're like, I don't know exactly how much, but like they're definitely affordable. And there are, yeah, way more. And why I think that's happening is, when the demand is there and the ingredients
Right.
are in demand and there's more of them and more people are producing them, the cost is going down. So I do
Right.
see a huge shift. And also I think with sustainability in terms of packaging, again, eco-friendly, biodegradable, zero waste is trendy. So
Mhm.
those things are more affordable for the buyer to buy them wholesale, or for you to produce them and also to have access to a manufacturing place to maybe produce your own. It's
Right.
way more possible and attainable now, even as a small brand, small business
Yeah.
like I am, and a lot of the indie brands that I work with. They're really tiny, self-funded, out of their house, just trying to make it and don't want to get into any debt, but they also still want to be conscious of what they're using, so they buy,
Mhm.
the
Right.
boxes and the right things. So it's absolutely, you just need to look for it, but it's out there. The only problem with clean beauty that I'm seeing with that is that there's no law around the word clean, and unless it is
Okay.
USDA organic, that's one thing. It doesn't mean that fragrance isn't in there though. So like
Yeah.
you just have to be your own advocate and look
Got it.
to see what's important. Maybe it's vegan, maybe it's gluten free. If you have a gluten allergy, you should also look at the lotions and potions you're putting on your body, because if it has gluten in it, which a lot of products do, you're going to
Yeah.
be reactive to that as well. So, and same with, I'm allergic to certain types of honey. If I put honey on my face breaks out. So you want to understand what your body is, just because it's clean, right? I mean,
Right.
honey is considered clean, but like for some people it's not. So
Mhm.
you need to kind of define your own version of clean and look for that.
That's a very good point.
And that's really good
That honey
advice.
one, because I've heard that before too, where like people like local honey might be better for you than other honey because it's from the area that you grew up in. So you're gonna have a natural like build up to it
To
or
that
something like
pollen count or
yeah.
It'll
something.
help with allergies. That is I don't want to say a myth, but that's what they say, that it's better.
Really?
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that it is.
Right.
I've personally tried local honey. I haven't seen like a huge
A
change.
Right.
difference. Got
I
it.
don't as
Understood.
well.
So I don't know. But I don't know how much you need. I don't know if you need a whole bottle or if it's just a spoonful. I heard it's a spoonful,
Yeah.
so I didn't try it, but I don't know.
Um, one of the other things that you brought up earlier that like when relating to like cost of clean beauty products is like that slow transition of like, so like you were saying, oh, I'm running out of like this shampoo. Now let me just go and invest in this instead. And that way,
Mhm.
like hopefully at that point I'm shuffling out at a rate in which it's not gonna like break my bank.
Yeah.
Except for like when I go and buy some more of this like lip whip stuff and I'm just buying all of it. But I do like, that's one thing to think about, because like I know for me, I switched my like hair products probably like a year or so ago, and it was one of those slow transitions because each product was like $20. And I was like, I'm not buying 8 of you right now. There's no way.
Yep, I think that's for most people, that's what you can do. And I mean, even going back home and visiting my mom, like she definitely one day was like, okay, I'll change the detergent, we're running out. And like the next day, I ordered her some makeup. And next week, I ordered her some new lotion. And I just told her, wait until you run out. So, and she said, like, I'm not throwing this away. I don't care if it's not clean. And of course, the soaps, the hand soaps that were in the bathroom, and of course they were drying out my hands so much they're cracking, and I'm just like, I can't even use it. So I ended up buying it for her, and putting her stuff like under the sink until she but she did say like, what'd she say? I'm too old to make a change. And I said, when you go through menopause, like it affects you at all points of your life. It affects children, it affects babies, it affects you when you're pregnant, and it can affect you when you're 80 years old. Like it'll just affect you in a different way. And I think it doesn't matter how old you are, and some people might think that if they're listening and they're like, older like my mom, and they think that it's too late for them. It's really not, and I feel like it's very similar to like if you think of smoking, you could stop smoking at 50, not have cancer, and actually heal your lungs. Like it's possible. So, and like I said, I have a less than a week and I had a huge life change. And so I think you can definitely switch out a product and go to a cleaner, greener one, especially if you know that it's from a huge corporate company that is definitely mass producing overseas. Like you just don't want that in your house or going into our ocean.
Absolutely.
Over here to
that part, right? I'm like whole other discussion. So you told us a lot about like your background in BeautyCon, the retreat, and then the virtual summit as well. The virtual summit's currently happening, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, state of everything that's been going on in our country and our world, we postponed our masterclass last week and our event this week just out of respect for the families and everybody that's been affected, which is all of us. And we will reconvene on the 27th. That's our next summit.
Okay. Perfect. So is this a weekly masterclass?
Yeah, so we do have master classes and they're sporadic. They kind of happen as people approach us with ideas and we try to relate whoever we can. And then for the con, we did have 13 consecutive weeks when COVID started, and we had 5 or 6 founders on each week. And as the world started to reopen, we definitely wanted to be mindful of people going back to work and give people time to retransition. And so we put a little bit of a hold, and then the whole protests and everything started happening. And so we definitely said, okay, maybe we should take a little bit more of a break. And we had, direct connections with people that were affected in their own homes, in their cities. So we just wanted to just give, and we had one of our speakers actually say like, I can't do this right now, I'm just not in the right place. So we said, okay, I think we should really respect that and pull out for now, and we can focus on other things and planning for the future. And so we are going to be having a con each month, and that's how we'll be able to continue to showcase the brands that are featured in Clean Beauty Kit. So up until now we called it like a wellness tote or wellness kit, but we did want to make sure that if someone's seeing for the first time that they find Clean Beauty Kit. So, and it was more in alignment with what we were doing, and so we will be featuring those brands through there, and that's a way for everybody to be able to discover them. And I believe that, you know, when people first try a product, they're not as connected to it if they don't meet the founder or they don't get to talk to them and ask them questions
Right.
and
Yeah.
hear their story. And I think that that's something that's been missing from the industry, and that's why Clean Beauty Con is as successful as it is, because you're bringing that face-to-face value of being able to connect and feel heard, you know, no matter where you are,
Right.
and ask those questions, you know. And we're bringing on brands that are super inclusive, like I said, women, and now Black woman-owned businesses, and we have so many in line to be working with in the next couple months. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm excited to see that too, because I'm excited to get put on some more. Like,
I was going to ask, would you be able to like kind of tell us some of those brands? I would love to know some specific African American.
Yeah, so I just got this today.
brand.
I was opening it right before I got on.
Ooh.
Arbria Creations. She sent me a box. So, as a makeup artist approved subscription, I definitely need to approve each product that goes in the box. So brands have been sending me between 5 and 7 of their favorite products for me to evaluate and choose which one goes in. So I just got this body scrub. It's a guava longita with shea butter, avocado oil, and this
I like the packaging.
this stood
Yeah.
out to me the most. Like, I'm like, it's like a face steam where you put it in water and it's like dried petals. I'm like, I've never really.
Oh, and
I'm like,
And
this
then
is
you
cool for the
put it-
kit. So they're natural items, and it's like she gave me the whole. And there's a glow stick face balm, which I thought was really cool. So I'm gonna be trying all these tomorrow, and
I'm excited for that.
I know. And
Is that a highlighter?
she reached out and said, "Hey, let's do this." But actually, there was a couple different articles, I'm sure you guys have seen them, of clean beauty or wellness brands, like a list of like 50 or 100, and a bunch of different sites have been posting about them. So I was individually reaching out saying, "Hey, it looks like you're clean. Like, if you would like to be featured, we're waiving all fees for you. If you want to be included, we'd love to highlight you." And there were so many people who were like, "Oh my God, thank you." Like, and I was like, how have I never heard of you? You're in clean beauty. And like, this is the problem. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have the means to like have a publicist and do all these things. Like, I'm just working from home or like with my sister. And it's interesting to hear those stories because, you know, it's like, how are there 100 brands in clean beauty that I didn't even know about? And so it was very eye-opening. So I said, well, how can I, you know, be of service right now? How can I help this situation? And I can do that through raising up the voices in my platforms, on the podcast and the con.
Absolutely.
So that's what we've been doing. So I've been getting packages every day from these amazing women, and it's just so cool to see who's going to be, you know, featured in coming months. So I'm really excited.
That's so cool.
I know. I'm excited. I'm gonna look into that Arbria collections.
Mhm.
I've been seeing a lot of that, like kind of facial steaming and even like that vaginal steaming stuff. Like I've been seeing that a lot lately, but along those lines, like the pedal things, and I kind of want to check that out.
Jasmine, do you have any closing questions before we go into another break?
I don't think so. You kind of like, you are so awesome and thorough, and you're really great at like answering our questions and then giving us some. So no, you've honestly answered everything that I've had to ask and then some. Like, thank you.
Well, great.